Hello there. This is going to be my first video in trying to show you how to use the basic features for Pdfill. So I'm going to start with a basic service drawing, a new installed service. and I'll start with a house. In our saved objects features, I've already had a house that was pre-made and saved in here, and we'll cover that in another video. So I'm just going to hit that. And then you see the right angle there with the S on it. Always builds out from that right corner, like so. And I can either grab this and rotate it by hand, or I can go to properties and I can rotate that 90 degrees and hit OK. All right, and then I'm going to go to curves. You can go a straight curve like you have in GoSync, or a smooth curve. I'm going to use that in my arrow style, so I'm putting an arrow on the end for the riser. I like to use 2 1/4 for the line size. That's what that is. And then line color for new service is red. So wherever you want to start, you click it once, just like in GoSync, drag it out, and when you want to change direction, click it again. And then keep clicking every time you want to change direction. And when you're good, double click it. Now there's something you don't like, you can hit up here, you can hit edit path. And then I can actually move that around, as you can see. Maybe I want to bring that down a little bit, like so. Then when you're done, go back to your select arrow. That's actually, you're going to use that a lot to get out of whatever feature that you're in. I'm going to click that and click off of that line. Then I'm going to go to some dimension lines. A couple ways to do that. I can hit the arrow and I can go to double arrow. I'm going to drop down one line size or thickness and change it to black. And then I can basically, I'm going to click and hold this time. I'm going to go to the building. And when it turns blue, then I know I'm horizontal. It'll also turn blue when you're on the vertical. And there's my line. Now, another way to do it is what I did is I pre-made some a horizontal and a vertical dimension line, and then I saved them in the saved object feature, so that instead of having to create the line, I can just basically grab that, click it, and I can still move it around, whatever I want to do, stretch it out. And use it as such. Also got a horizontal dimension line. Let's say I want to do center line here. I'll show you. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to shorten it up some. And this time I'm going to right click it, copy, right click again off of it and paste it. And then I'm going to drag that over here. You can see that it shows me when it lines up with the other one. Now, obviously I don't need 2 with arrows on both ends, so I'm going to go back up to arrow style, change that one, highlight this one, change that one. So then I have opposing arrows to cover the center line here instead of making just a tiny dimension line. Let's see, I still need a short line, so I'll use a vertical one again. And there's a few ways to do it. One easy way is I can start in the house line right here, click it, and I'm just going to grab it. And when I come out here, it's going to show you when I line up with the original. You see that? See, it still shows me on the right there. That's where it was. So I let go. Now it's in the new position. And then I can just bring it up to the service tab. Okay, then we'll go over text. Single line text. 10 font's a good size. Sometimes I use 8. Anything below that gets to be too small. And you should be in bold. And actually the program should default in bold. So I'm going to start here with the building domain. Just make up some numbers. We'll say 76 feet. Building domain. 7 feet. Now instead of right east of center line here, I don't want the text to go over that line, so I'm going to start on the back side here. All right. So center line. Now again, I can rotate it by hand. I can click and hold this green dot and rotate it, or and go out to this border here, right click it, hit properties, and then again 90-degree rotate, hit OK. You can see that slides right in there at 90-degree angle. And then I'm going to do a short line here. So we'll say like 7 feet right left building line. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click that, rotate it 90 degrees. All right, now you're going to see that that one's a little off. If I want to make it right, so you can see that my cursor is still in text mode. So I'm going to go up to select, and then I'm going to select that text. Now I can grab it on the border and move it, or use the keypad arrows or keyboard arrows. I can move that right where I need it. All right, so you can see now I've already gotten pretty far in the drawing here, so I'm just going to continue. We'll say it's 20th Avenue South. All right, and then I'm going to do the street up here, East 23rd Street. Again, I can click that border anytime, and then I can get it right in where I want it. Let's see, let's get the main. We'll say it's 2-inch TR 418 class 6. Now I'll show you here. Like I said, you can grab it here, rotate it, but it's just easier if it's 90 degrees. Just easier to hit the rotate feature in the properties. Actually, we're working on this. You can see it jumps a little bit. So I'm just going to highlight that again. And I'm going to use the arrows to drop it in where I want it. All right, I have the save function feature. I've got an abandonment line. And then I can throw text on that. Actually, let me go to the multi-line text. You should go down to an 8 font. And then I can draw a box. And there, now you can always resize and move that box afterwards. But let's say we've been 76 feet, half-inch PE, and hit enter to get it back over the other side. 3306.70 wall. Now, if I want, I can even go up, and you see up here that has a line left or a line center. So I can hit a line center, and then I can move that down to it. Again, I can use arrows. It's best for the fine tuning. And then I want to get a feature again, so I'm going to hit the select arrow and click out of it. You go back to the left alignment. We'll say it's a 2311. In case you want your font to be a little larger here, you can go back up top, and I can make it whatever I want, and it'll change it. And then I can move around the building too as I want. I see my my fill color dropped out. It must have been highlighted when I took the fill off. I can always go back in there, click that rectangle, and go back to fill color and throw it back in there like that. I can actually show you about layers too. Like if I had thrown that in there, and all of a sudden it's possible that when I put that back in there, it would have gone over the top of the text here. Let me just highlight it. I'm going to right click and hit order and send to back. And you see that it disappears. Now, if I click onto this object and right click it and hit the order again and send that to back, then it comes back. Basically, it's just one's going over the top. So we can move our object back and forth. Anyway, I think we're pretty far along. I did call that a class 6 main. So I'm going to go back and get an excess flow valve and show you this feature. So we do have our objects in here, our symbols. Here's an excess flow valve. And I can drop this out here. I'll show you what it looks like. But the one nice thing about this program is I can resize it, I can rotate it, and I can move it wherever I want. And again, I like to use the arrow keys to fine tune it. So that's the bulk of our service line drawing here. Let's see, I need to tell you what the service is. So I'm going to say, when I get a curvy line, I have to drop the text along it. So I'm going to go back to a 10 font and say 76 feet. Half-inch PE, and then 2406. And actually, well, they want us to put in, it's actually 2406, 2708, so I'm going to put that in there too. Now I can grab it. Actually, I might click out of the feature. You get that, then I can highlight each one. If it actually, as long as it's not overlapping the line, you can leave it. I mean, I kind of like to wrap it with the line, so I'm just going to rotate it to the service. I'll highlight that one. You know, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just don't have it overlap in the line. None of the text should overlap a line. That's one thing they certainly don't want. All right, arrow key to get it in there right where I want it. And there you go. Lastly, we need to add the text. Or actually, I'm going to show you something else too. So we'll put in the text. This is a multi-line text. We did use a single text. We use this once too, or also. Click and drag your box, hold it, and that sets the parameters of where you can type. So when you get to this end here, you're no longer can you overlap this line. You actually just go back to the next space. All right, so we'll say we replaced the existing half-inch PE 3306.7 all service with half-inch PE 2406 2708. Oops. All right, so I wrote a little extra in there just to show you how once you get to the end here, it just puts itself down to the next line, and you can always resize that. Also, you can move the whole box, whatever you want to do with it. One last thing before this gets too long is I'm going to show you whiteout. So I'm still in the text mode here, so I'm going to click out of it. If you need to white out some text and right over the top in one fell swoop, this is really slick. So I have the whiteout, and I'm going to start where I want to write over. Say I had a notification, I had to export this off another order, and normally we just X this all out. Well, instead, I can click and then hold, And I'm going to draw a draw a rectangle over this work order. And then just a second, okay. I'm clicking this box, and now I can go S1, 2, 3, 4, and click in the work order that I need, and I hit OK. And then you'll see pops up right up there, and you can't even tell the other text was there. Now I could do that for all these fields just to change it. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. There'll be more videos coming. Thank you very much.